Grand Rising family. Welcome to the channel Homegrown Wellness Community 72. I am your FBA, or I am FBA herbalist. FBA stands for Foundational Black American. And happy Easter Sunday, happy Resurrection Sunday if you celebrate the holiday on today. So I spoke to the title of this subject a little bit in my last few lives, but I decided that I really wanted to share with, really this live is really for women. Not that what I'm going to talk about does not pertain to men, but really this video is for women and those that are in the situation that I was in, those that are thinking about getting married and there are red flags that you see. I like to call them not so much red flags, but warning signs. So the title of this live is Why I Got Divorced at 53 after 14 years of marriage. And again, I hope that those that watch this, that it will help you. Again, if you're in the situation that I was in, if you're thinking about getting married to someone, yeah. So, why divorced after 14 years of marriage? And literally, my ex-husband and I, our divorce was 7 days before what would have been our official 14-year anniversary. Yeah. We got divorced December 18th, 2024, and we would have been married for 14 years, December 25th, 2024. So I got a divorce to my ex-husband of 14 years of marriage, 2 young children. We have a teenager and a preteen. At the time, our son was turning 13 that July. Well, he had turned 13 last year, and our daughter had just turned 11. So I got divorced after 14 years of marriage because it was no longer safe. It was no longer safe. It was no longer safe for me physically. It had not been safe for me emotionally, mentally, for a long time. I would say for at least the last 6 years solid of the marriage. The warning signs literally were there. I would say probably a year into the marriage. But, being a woman that I had no children. I had no children when my ex and I got married. We also, let me make this very clear. We also got married 3 months after meeting or reconnecting. And I say reconnecting because I had known my ex-husband as a child, and we connected later on in life. I was 38, he was 39. So, we had long conversations, literally, prior to getting married. It just seemed as if our lives were meant to be together as husband and wife. And I still think that was the case. I do not think that he was not the person that I was supposed to marry and have children with. Okay? But I got divorced, and I really hope someone watching this, anyone watching this, I really hope that this helps you, because I want to point blank say it. I was in a very abusive marriage, and it did not become physically until our last day of being in the house together, which was April 23rd. That's when it became literally physically abusive, and I had to literally fight for my life. Like, literally, I'm not exaggerating. But my marriage to my ex-husband was very mentally and emotionally abusive. And the thing with that type of marriage is it was built upon it started with me allowing myself. Now, mind you, it takes two for everything. It takes two for any type of agreement. So I'm going to talk also about my part that I played in allowing the abuse to take place in the marriage, because this couldn't happen without me allowing it. Understand that. You have to take account of, ladies, listen, if you are in an abusive marriage relationship, take accountability of the part that you have played in it, and usually it's what you have started to allow. So I allowed my ex-husband, this was the start of the abusive marriage, I allowed him to isolate me. I allowed him to isolate me from family members, from friends. So the abuse starts with the isolation and you allowing that to happen. I've never been a person that really socialized and mingled with a lot of people. Just growing up, it was my parents and my brother and myself. I never dealt with a lot of women and had a bunch of girlfriends around me. That was not my thing. So, I was like basically the prime target, if you would, for an abusive spouse. I was prime, because it was easy for me to allow him to isolate me, because like I said, I never really hung around a bunch of people to begin with. But that is the first sign. If he is isolating you, and isolation looks like you don't need to go with Sally Sue. How about you and I? How about you and I go to the comedy show? Things like that. He'll start to point out the faults in other people or his version of the faults in other people, and why you as a married woman, really shouldn't keep company, and, they'll start to point, or they'll start to paint the picture of why you need to just really be the homebody, which I am, and really just need to be around them. Because ultimately, someone that is abusive, for them, it's all about control. It's all about control. And because I was such, and am, but lost myself for a little bit, a independent person, I've had my own, prior to getting married and being married, I had my own hair salons. I've always worked 2 physical jobs. So, I was 38, no children, had been married before. This was not my first marriage. Neither was it his first marriage. So, the reason why, let me get back to the reason why I am divorced after 14 years, thank you for the hearts, of marriage, is because it was no longer safe for me and or for my children. And physically, he never abused my children, but when you are dealing with a person that degrades you in front of your children, calling you, calling, you a loser, you'll never be anything. And you're saying these things in front of your children. And see, again, that has now become a very unsafe. I'm not going to use the word toxic, because, that's just a word now that people just throw around, right? It became unsafe for our children to be in that type of a family. It became unsafe. And so, again, my part in all of, and let me put the sun, it is beaming out here, y'all. My part in safe marriage was I stayed, but I got out. Let me just share something with you guys. An abusive marriage does not look like that from the outside. We, the one that being abused and the abuser, paint this facade of being the perfect family, right? And that was not the case. Whenever let me just tell you all something, and this is for the ladies, listen, if you have to fake it when you leave your doorstep, when you leave your home, when you have to put on this fake facade of being in this perfect relationship, know that it's not right. It's not right. It's not right. And you need to get out of it. You need to get out of it. When it's time for you to come home, you get the sick feeling in your gut because you don't know what you're going to walk into. You don't know if there will be times in my marriage where, I would come home and could be, preparing dinner, and he would just explode verbally over maybe the way that I was preparing a specific food, or if literally, and this is no exaggeration, I remember one specific time I was calling him and he literally ran out of one room into the room that I was in, and I happened to be in the kitchen, and he was raging about the way I said his name and not to call him in that tone. And you know, you're standing there, I'm standing there. Ladies, pay close attention, because if these things are going on, it's time to get out. And know this, I am for marriage. I believe in the institution, but I don't believe in abuse. So I'm standing there like, what? I said, I just said your name. And he's yelling at the top. He's raging out. Don't say my name like that. And it was like at that moment, I would probably say that was probably literally like a year before we divorced, separated in the divorce. I'm standing in the kitchen like, oh my goodness, this is it. Like, this cannot continue, because the person that was raging out in front of me was not the person that I knew, that I had grown to love. It was like a different person was in front of me. Like, even his tone and his voice. So these are, you know, signs that you know, you're in an abusive relationship, marriage, whatever, and you need to get out. When the person rages out on you, or like the young folks say, crash out on you for like no reason. Also, I would be told, you know, like say I was going, I don't know, to the mall to go buy some gifts for the children because it was their birthday or whatever, one of their birthdays, and obviously they can't be with me. You know, I would get things like, oh, you're cheating. Oh, you're going to be with your boyfriend. I was being told this. And one thing about me, and I can say wholeheartedly in my marriage to my ex for 14 years, I never even looked at another man in a way like, ooh, okay. Yes, I've seen attractive men, but I've never looked at another man because my eyes was focused and only for my husband. So I would be told that, oh, you're going to be with your boyfriend. And I remember when I got my part-time job, and one day I had got COVID. And I had to call out. And I had spoken with one of my managers, and I said their name, and I called out. And I kid you not, maybe about a month later, he was accusing me of cheating, and he brung up, because I had to go to work. And he was like, yeah, you want to go see so-and-so. Yeah, that's your boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. And let me tell you, ladies, something. If you are not committing adultery, if you are not cheating on your significant other, your man, your husband, and they're all the time telling you that you are, it's them. It's not you. And the abuse got so bad mentally and emotionally that I would start to question when he would accuse me of certain things. I started to question, like, am I really doing this? Listen, y'all, I'm about to go to Starbucks and get my my drink before I go into my part-time. So you guys are going to hear me place an order. But listen, this is why I am divorced 14 years after marriage. I definitely will do another live getting a little bit more into detail of all the signs and other things that you need to be aware of. I hope Starbucks is open. Oh yeah, they open. Also really important, because I know some of you are probably saying like, and oh, the children are good. Let me tell you something about children. They are some resilient little people. And you know why I know my children are good? My children are good because they see that their mom is safe. Mommy is no longer having, I'm here at Starbucks, y'all. Having to defend. Hi, welcome to Starbucks. How would you start for you today? Yes. Can I have a venti mango dragon fruit refresher lemonade with 6 pumps of classic and extra ice? That's it. Thank you. Okay, extra ice, you're up. Yeah, thank you. So I place my water, y'all. But my children are good, and I talk to my children all the time. We have conversation, and they have told me, yes, they love their dad, but they are glad that we are in our own new home, totally different town, because they didn't like, the environment in which we were living when we were with their dad. Get my money together, y'all. And yeah, so they're good. So some of you may be, I'm about to end this soon. Some of you may be asking, what's my total? 703. Okay. Some of you, oh, happy Easter to you too. Thank you. Some of you might be asking the question, will I ever get married again? Because like I said, this was not my first marriage, and nor was it his first marriage. And I can, at this particular day, what is it? April 20th, 2025. I can emphatically say, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's so funny because I remember years ago watching Halle Berry talk to Oprah. Here you go. Thank you so much. Can I have a straw? This is my drink. Here you go. All right. Enjoy. Thank you. I remember years ago when Oprah was the bomb. No slight to Oprah, but and Oprah asking Halle, would she get married? Now, mind you, I think Halle had just divorced Eric Benet. She had been married to, I think, Christopher Williams, and she had been married to somebody else. So I think Eric Benet was her third marriage. And I remember her saying, absolutely not. And I remember saying to myself, why would she say that? Like, that's not cool. I would absolutely never, ever again, as of today. Now, I may change. I may feel different 5 years from now. But as of today, April 20th, 2025, absolutely not would I get married again. Would I be in a committed relationship with an awesome man? Absolutely, yes. That I would. That I would do. Companionship, I think, is really important. It's so funny, especially in the Black community. When it comes to funerals, excuse me. And my mother even said this. My mother and my dad had been married they had been married for 19 years and they got a divorce. And I remember asking my mom, and my mom had a friend, right? Because in the Black community, the women, they have friends, right? And I asked my mother, and she had a friend who she worked with, nice man. And they had been in a relationship with each other probably about 5 years. And I remember asking her, I said, Ma, and this was after my first divorce. I said, Ma, would you ever marry so-and-so? And she said, oh, no, honey, I'm not marrying no man again. I'm not getting married again, you know. And I said, Mommy, why not? She said, oh, no, nope, you can be my friend, and that's it. And he have his stuff, I have my stuff. We help each other out. But he got his house, and I got my house. I'm backing up. I'm backing in, y'all. My father taught me how to drive very well, let's say. Contrary to what Kevin Williams or Daniels or Samuels, whatever his name was, talking about. This is so off topic, but I remember he had did this video that if you see a woman backing up, run away from her. She's like a man or whatever. That's so stupid. But anyhow, I definitely would never get married. Yes, would love a lifetime man as a partner, when I'm ready for that. The reason why, I'll get into that later on, but he'll have his place and I'll have my place, and he can help me with my stuff, my place, and I can help him at his place. But being married again, that's not in the cards, so to speak, for me. And I'm good with that. I am good with that. So, family, that is what this was all about today. Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure that if this video has helped you, this live rather, that you like, share it with another woman, a sister, a mother, a cousin, a friend. Subscribe to the channel. I do these lives every Sunday. The hours kind of vary. But that is it. That's why I got divorced at 53 after 14 years of marriage, because it was no longer safe. Physically, mentally, and emotionally for me, nor was it any longer safe emotionally and mentally for our children. So that is it. Family, remember, be great to yourself because you are great. Be great to your family. They deserve your greatness. Be great to your community. Without love, self-love first, we have absolutely nothing. And as always, clarity is key. But without consistency, we have no balance. Family, be well. See you next week. Happy Resurrection Sunday. Happy Easter Sunday again if you celebrate. Bye.